Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick intro for this video. In this video, Angela, one of our clients who joined after early decision applications, is going to go over her Common App essay and her supplements for the RD cycle. And Abdullah is going to join us as well, who is the head counselor at our IB Narrative program. And you guys are going to get to see what goes on in fixing a good essay and making it IB level. So let's get started.
Hi, my name is Angie Escalante. I'm a gap year student from Lima, Peru, and actually applying to the US with the support of.
Okay. Yep. All right. Let's start.
Right, Angela, just like a few follow-up questions. You're supposed to apply to Berkeley. Is that done? That was due last night.
Yeah, I applied to Berkeley.
Okay, good. What about Rochester and Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I also sent my application to University of Rochester. I am actually having like an issue with the portal of this university because they sent me my portal like last yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to because we can upload.
That's with Vanderbilt?
No, with Rochester.
Rochester, okay.
We have an option to upload an abstract from a research paper we've been working, and I was going to do that, but when I put my password, it appears a window that says my Rock account it's only for applicants, but they said that it take like 24 hours for Common App to send up documents, so I gave it like another day, but I think I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
send them like an email because I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening.
So number one golden rule with any sort of problems like this is just as soon as you see a problem, send an email to the admissions office because A, they're the ones who can solve it for you. B, even if they can't and like it takes long, at least they know that issue exists, so they can give you like a grace period. So the scholarship deadline or like the research draft that you have to upload, if it was due on December 1st, if you just send them an email saying that there's a problem in the portal, they'd happily give you an extension. So as soon as something comes up, just shoot them an email immediately. So at the very least, they know that an issue exists on their end, and it's not your fault that the documents that you're submitting are late. Okay, right. Let's move on. So I remember the last time we basically talked about another idea for your Common App essay. Did you have any updates on that? Try writing it down or like
Yeah,
doing
I
anything
have
with it?
a new version. I don't know if I can share with you.
You can just send it in like the WhatsApp group that we have or
Okay.
send it as an email.
I think we can share screen here as well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's shown now on this
Hmm.
screen.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Let's see.
This is like above with all my documents, and here's a
Hmm.
personal statement.
Okay. Okay. Okay, can you scroll down? Okay, scroll down. Mhm. All right. Let's get a bit of meta questions about the essay out of the way. First off, I don't think this activity was listed in your activity list that you shared earlier. Is this something new?
Uh, no, it's not like an extracurricular activity. It's just something I do like a hobby in my summer. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not mentioned in your application anywhere. Okay.
No.
Um, and what made you change? This is like entirely different from the essay idea you had in your early round. So walk me through the thought process.
Yeah, so I was actually writing making a draft for the essay where I talk about my relationship with my brother, like I told you in like
Hmm.
our last session. And
Hmm.
for some reason, I think it sounds more like a trauma dump essay. And I was sort of focusing too much on the negative sides. And I thought it will not be a great essay. I think I can anyway find like a way to make it work. But uh, we were planning with my family what to do in the summer, and I just remember that I had this experience, and I just started recalling, and I thought that I didn't mention any of this in my previous in any section of my application. So
Hmm.
and yeah, I remember this, and I thought it could be maybe. So that's how it
Okay.
started, and I also kind of like that. I know that in some part of the essay we need to show like, so okay, so now this is how we think. Now, how we apply this in the future of our lives. So I thought
Mm.
that I can so for example, I think I have this part where I said that I started to embrace spontaneity, and I think that I showcase this it sort of in the beginning with
Yeah.
this experience with Emma, and at the end I also kind of mentioned again like a reinforcement. So I thought this is like a circle,
Mm.
kind of like this, and yeah, and that's how sort of thing.
Um, this let's think of this essay through like a reader's lens, to like someone who's reading it for the first time, as the officer is going to be reading it for the first time. After reading this 650 words, what are some things that you think the reader will get to know about you? Some of the obvious ones are that you keep an open mind and you're there to you're like really open to learning from people that you meet like as soon as possible. So for example, the trackers that you met, they were complete strangers, but you were able to absorb a lot of their ways of living and like take them as lessons. That's point number one, like being malleable and being open to new experiences and learning. What's number two? What does this essay tell the reader about you?
Okay, so uh I kind of tried to showcase some features. One of them was, as you said, like my openness to new experience and different perspectives from other people. The second one
Mm-hmm.
was more of like a bit of my personality, a bit of empathy, but also
Mm-hmm.
I want to like show that I used to have this focus of more focusing in my result rather than in my journey itself. So also that in my future goals that I will pursue in university in general, I will try to also approach this mindset, the mindset. Yes.
The personality part that you mentioned, I think you sort of say that in like the sentence that we have right in front of us. After we parted ways, I found myself incorporating their approach into my trek and lifestyle. Gradually, I gave up on meticulous planning and embraced spontaneity. This problem, or like your propensity or like your habit of meticulous planning, does not show up anywhere else in the essay. So like this wasn't defined as a problem or as a personality trait at the start. So for example, if at the start we had a sort of an introductory paragraph saying that you, being like a science student who's into research and stuff, you've always thought of things in terms of how you plan them, and like you feel comfortable be doing pursuing projects or pursuing activities that you've had a lot of planning for. But then you get into this trekking experience with these complete strangers who do spontaneous stuff, and you realize that it's a lot more fun to do things without proper planning, and sometimes it's a necessity. So that sort of also layers into that empathy part where the tracker that you were trying to help also appeared spontaneously, and like you had to make a decision on spot whether to continue or stay with them. So that was a spontaneous decision. So if you had defined that problem at the start, and then this part of like dropping meticulous planning and embracing spontaneity would have come up as a result of these experiences, as a sort of the learning part towards the end of the essay, I think it would have made it a lot better.
Okay.
So in that way, it also like follows through in the entire essay, and it pronounces that personal aspect a lot more than how it is right now, because that's literally just one sentence in the entire essay that is supposed to just tell the reader something about what you learned from this experience on a more deeper sort of personal slash philosophical level. So you need to define the problem at the start. Talk about how I know that a lot of your activities revolve around research and labs and around education and teaching. So all of that happens inside well serviced rooms with like air conditioning and all the facilities in the world. And research itself is a very meticulous task to do. So talk about how that was basically your entire personality, where you pursued activities and life in general with a lot of planning, but then trekking through the Amazon in itself is a very, some people would say, a reckless act to do. Like you're all alone inside a jungle. So that's daring outside your comfort zone. One. Second, you had to take a decision on spot whether to take the risk of getting nightfall, or just like moving on, leaving that trekker who needed help there. That is spontaneity number two, and also empathy. And then you talk about the random six group of strangers that you met. So that's spontaneity number three. So I think that would have made it gel a lot better. And the problem number two that I have this with this, I mean, they're not exactly problems, more like constructive critiques, of course, is that a lot of it revolves around other people. I understand that this is sort of, maybe this fits better in the other prompt that says what has other personal statement prompt that says what has someone else done for you that has made you grateful in an unexpected way. You know about that prompt, right? I get that it's sort of gearing towards that prompt, but once again, it's a very common mistake that students make is to make the essay about someone else without spending a lot of time talking about what they taught you and how you took that lesson for yourself. So I would definitely cut down on some other parts, especially I think you use a lot of words in the opening where you talk about how you were walking through the jungle and then you met this trekker who needed help. You talk a lot about cigarette smoke. 100% expected that cigarette smoke would be a metaphor that runs through the essay, but it didn't. So now I feel like that's just an unnecessary detail that's just there for no reason. So either use cigarette smoke as a metaphor and layer it throughout the essay, or just get rid of it entirely, because I think that's wasting a lot of your words. And you can use those words to showcase a lot more about yourself rather than just having an account of your observations with a one sentence transformation at the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you so much for your feedback.
Okay. Also, I think a good essay should also layer some other aspects of your personality in there. So the reason I keep mentioning research and meticulous planning in here is because, well, research is a big part of your application and your personality, right?
Yeah.
You're big on biology and doing a lot of research, teaching it. So I would want some of that aspect to come through in your essay. I don't want you to make your essay about biology, but at least have a bit of touch or a bit of flavor in the essay about that aspect of your personality, because it's really big. I would want that to be layered in as well. I think that when you talk about defining the problem at the start, you can also talk about how this was your approach to not only life, but also the way you study or the way you see biology. You saw biology in petri dishes and in clean rooms and in bacteria cultures on like agar plates, or you saw biology under a microscope where like cells are so clearly organized. But then you walk out into the jungle and you see the ecosystem and you see everything making spontaneous decisions, because survival out in the wild where the real biology lives, where the animals, plants, microbiomes interact together, it's a very chaotic and haphazard environment, and that this sort of experience also changed the way you looked at biology, in the sense that it can't be looked at in isolation, and that everything from within the organism to outside it has to be taken in context of what it's around. So that's like an other aspect of your personality that you're like sort of putting into this main theme of embracing spontaneity and rejecting meticulous planning.
Okay, yeah, I like that. At the beginning, I also
Mhm.
had like an attraction for writing my personal statement about biology, but some people told me that it's not recommended to write about your why major or something like that. So that's why I tried to put. But I guess it makes sense to like uh, show it a little bit in my personal statement, since it's all kind of strong aspect in
Mhm.
my application as a whole, so it can connect somehow. I would try to do.
Yeah, so that is correct. I strongly discourage students from writing their personal statements about why major or why certain activity. I'm not asking you to make the essay about biology. I'm just asking you to mention it in context of something else. So the main point of your essay is not that I changed the way I looked at biology. That's just one minor aspect of it. The main theme, or the thesis, if you want to call it, of your personal statement is going to be the change in your personality. And your personality is like this meta umbrella term, right? And like you have certain aspects underneath it. So the way you approach fun is one aspect. So fun stopped being, let's say, well thought out board games and started being like more of decisions on a whim. And then you have that academic side to yourself where your the way you approach biology changed, and then so personality change is the main theme, and then you have certain mini parts of your personality being shown in the essay, and all of them basically convey the same message. So you're not simply stating that gradually I gave up meticulous planning and embraced spontaneity. You're showing it with specific examples from like micro parts of your personality.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think I need to work in that part of show and don't tell, and this is.
I think so. One problem that I anticipate you'll face while writing this would be word limit because, well, to be honest, it is a lot to incorporate into 650 words. A good idea would be to not worry about the word limit at the beginning. Just like if it goes to 1,000 words, let it go to 1,000 words. And then we can cut it down and look at aspects that are maybe not contributing too much towards the thesis or are maybe just like simply irrelevant details. That can come later. It's important to get the entire idea down first. So don't worry too much about the word limit at the beginning. And of course, like once you write it down, I see a lot of ways that the language in this essay can be fixed. And of course, we can sit together and fix the language. Oh wait, did I lose you guys?
You're fine. I think Angela got disconnected.
Oh, it's alright. We can wait for her.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Oh, she's back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened.
That's fine. So do you have any questions about this? We have it's important to ask as many questions as you can. Even while you're writing it, I anticipate that a lot of questions are gonna come up. So just like if you want to schedule a call or like just send those to me as a text message and we can talk about it as like for as much as you want, but it's important to get started on it right now because like we have less than a month left.
Yeah.
Okay, before I move on to like the other stuff, do you have any specific things that you wanted to discuss?
That I wanted to show, or
Like, if you have anything to show me, that's fine as well. If you have any questions.
I know what I already sent, like my PIQs and my exercise for Rochester and
Hmm.
Vanderbilt, but maybe you can like give me some feedback so I can apply it in another, because I will somehow try to recycle these essays.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing about someone applying to UC is that you have four very good supplements about four very different things, and then you can keep recycling them for like your regular decision. So, do you want to show me your UC PIKs?
Yeah, yes, this is Berkeley.
Yeah. Okay.
I choose the expressive one. I also choose the about a challenge, like the challenge and how it relates to my academic environment. Then the
Okay.
academic interest and the community essay. So this is like the first
Hmm.
one.
Okay. This is creative side, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. You can scroll down. Okay. Did you get help from AI to write this? Like, did you at least plan it with the help of AI?
Sorry.
Did you use any sort of LLM like ChatGPT or something to get help for this essay, the first one?
No.
Because it does have very classic signs of AI. So, for example, this paragraph that says Anna, who once refused to balance on beams, now laughed as she carried a painted balloon across it. Mateo, who had avoided tracing shapes, eagerly connected colored strings. These are like sort of shows some AI character, but like okay. Synergy is not. It's good. I think the idea itself was good. The language can, of course, always be improved.
Okay.
Just a minor comment. Don't you think this would also fit into the community response?
Um. Okay. I left this one at the end because in my community essay, I use a specific example of one of our alumni in my organization, and I thought it just fit
Hmm.
really well about showcasing how through that we Uh, I thought I wrote first my community essay. That's why I just ignore or simply thought that this will fit in my community essay. I tried to.
No, I mean it makes sense here as well. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense here. It's just that it could also theoretically fit into the community.
Yeah, I even thought that it can maybe. I mean, if I like changed some parts, it will also fit like in leadership or something like that. But I tried to take a creative side so it can showcase a different part of me. But yeah,
Also with UCs, it's important to consider like what the college essay guy calls the bucket approach, which means you need to make sure that every single PIQ is showing a different side of yourself. So there shouldn't be overlap. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, let's see the next one.
this is like the how about the most
Hmm.
important challenge?
You have faced, how has the sound affected your academic achievement? Undiagnosed endometriosis? Like, did you not know at that point?
Yeah, yeah. It was diagnosed for almost 6 years, and my mother got hair surgery when I was 15. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I remember talking about this. Scroll down. You're missing a comma up there. It's even highlighted in red. The Oxford comma. Okay, let's scroll down. Yeah, this is a good idea as well. And I remember we talked about this at length last time. When you start the second last paragraph with yet real learning happened in the afternoon with the kitchen table, it sort of takes away a bit of, let's say, impact from the stuff that you mentioned earlier, because I know that you were trying to give it a happier outlook towards the end, but maybe you could have framed it a little better in the way that it doesn't belittle the problems that you face. Because let's be frank, they were very significant problems. You're having to care for an entire household on top of balancing your academics. So maybe you can talk more about how that was the main part, and then this second last paragraph could be a little shorter to give it like a bit of a happier outlook in the conclusion. But overall, it looks good, and I think it's also something that can be reused in a lot of other colleges. I know that many other colleges have prompts that are similar to this, like what's the most significant challenge you faced. So this could be very easily recycled, and I think it also shows a good soft aspect of you, which is a refresher from like because your entire activity list and your awards and honors are all science, science, science. I think it's a good a refreshing outlook for you.
Yeah. So in this one, I wanted to show. I wanted to approach this about how it affected my academic activities. So, but I also wanted to showcase like uh, I developed like tons of patience, and that was like the main core of this one. At the same time, I didn't want it. This was like a side story, not really very separate, but I want to also showcase how it helped me grow not only in the academic side, but also kind of like as a person, and how I apply
Mhm.
this team in another aspect. Like I mentioned here, sort of briefly, but yeah, I understand that maybe it.
That feels a little. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it feels a little rushed. It feels like it was like an afterthought that you just put in because you weren't able to like fill the entire 350 words. So either you can decide to focus on just the domestic duties and maybe the duty of teaching your younger brother and like get rid of the biology Olympiad and all of that stuff, or or go the other route where you talk about how this helped you be a better person and have more patience while you're teaching. So like you can choose the main part to be either one of these.
Yes. Sorry, I think I disconnected for a moment. What was the last sentence you said?
Yeah, I was just saying that you make a decision between either saying that um, all of these domestic duties sort of give me the skills that would later prove instrumental for your teaching responsibilities. Either that can be the crux or the thesis of your essay, or focus on the other part, which is the sort of time management and mental strength skills that you gained because of handling all of these domestic duties. I think if you define a theme
Mhm.
for the essay, that it just reads a lot better. Because right now you're trying to mix two things, and this part, the second last paragraph, feels more like an afterthought.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I will try to focus on one and the other essay. Other supplements that I will have to work. Uh,
Okay.
Now, this is the academic interest. I thought about biology, and yeah.
Okay, can you scroll down?
Yeah, I think this is all this. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, can you scroll up and show me the prompt again? Yeah. So the last paragraph where you talk about how you like further this interest at Berkeley, they didn't exactly ask for that, did they? Also, um, I think the essay is good in the sense that it has like a personal motive for you to pursue biology, and especially when it connects to your research, which is optogenetics. And I think it's overall a very, very strong look, but I just have a problem with the opening. Like, life is made of lifeless material. How does that come up later in the essay?
Oh, okay. So I want to start like, let's- it's more related to this part that, uh, it started with small contradictions, and I,
Hmm.
I, for example, let's say this is the first one. This is like the second one, and is this the third one? I I just wanted to like give these examples of contradictions. So maybe I could just
I think so.
like this.
As like a, I think you could choose a better quote here because I mean I am a bioengineer, and if when I read that quote first, life is made of lifeless material, I thought you were going to talk about biochemistry.
Oh,
Like you're going to talk about how lifeless chemicals combine to make something that is alive, and that like throws you off a little. So maybe you can choose a better quote there that sort of clearly outlines this contradictions part that you're going with, the contradictions theme. So yeah, I would change the quote that you opened.
okay. Yeah, for a moment I thought that it will be. I should kind of explain that uh, molecules are not alive, so it will be better. Yeah, I think I can explain better like this example, like the first
Um,
one, because
hmm,
here I sort of explain the contradiction. And yeah, I think it can work like that, maybe.
okay, sure. But I think that would be adding another sort of another twist to the essay that is not entirely necessary. I think the more important part would be sort of establishing that connection with your uncle, as that like an emotional connection with your uncle, and how he was your sort of partner in crime, and like he was always there when you were studying biology, just like you said that you were sitting in his lap when you read this, and then going through sort of establishing that personal connection a bit more emotionally in the sense that um, that satisfies your sort of motivation of your academic interest. I think you could spend more words on that rather than just explaining this whole contradictions thing. So, for example, I would sort of condense the first two paragraphs because actually, protestment in malaria. I don't think the second paragraph is doing anything for you here, like sickle cell mutation protecting or being harmful. It's not really doing a lot, is it? And it's not exactly a contradiction because it happens at different places. The mutation happens at different places. If it happens at like a certain place, it protects you from malaria. If it happens at another genetic location, it gives you sickle cell disease. So not exactly a contradiction, but I get what you were trying to go with. But I think it's just easier and like more. The message is more pronounced when you talk about you sort of double down on that aspect of my uncle had to go through a disease and the effects of its treatment that were like unexpected, and I want to know why, and this is why I got into all of these things. I think that would be a, a better or like a more emotionally engaging essay.
Yeah,
But overall, I think Coyote is pretty good.
yeah. At the beginning, I also thought that maybe I can just cut off this, and I tried to do
Hmm.
it, but for example, it says inside and outside the classroom, and for me, it were like this is my inside. This is a bit of the why. This is a bit
Hmm.
This example here, for example, is a bit sort of all this. Let's say it's like the outside. So let's say I just wanted to keep this as an inside example, but yeah, maybe I could
Hmm.
find a way to.
I mean, it's not really necessary because they say and or, and also you could have said that. I mean, of course, you consulted your biology teacher for this, and
Yes,
at least your textbook and stuff. So that could have sufficed if you were like so adamant on having it in there.
yes. Anyway, in like uh, 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 other supplementals, I think that the limit of words is maximum 250 words. So I always know that I gonna try to focus more on this part
Hmm. Yeah,
to connect it and maybe cut off a little bit the fluff, maybe. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
So
Okay, finally, community.
yeah, that communities. Yes.
Hmm. Okay, scroll down.
Yes, this is all.
Okay, can you go up again? I'm just trying to clear something in my head. So materials, mentorship, and opportunities were the sort of nutrients that come from the soil. But what exactly are the roots here?
Sorry.
So I get that your organization basically gave resources and like told mentorship and like told students about opportunities available to them, and those are the nutrients that they need to grow. But what exactly is the roots? Is
Um,
it being grounded in their community? Is it having an appreciation for it, or is it that using your education to like give back? Like what just to understand the metaphor a bit better. So
yeah,
you talk about soil and roots. So soil is materials, mentorship opportunities. What are the roots?
the roots. I consider sort of the roots like their basic education, like their learnings in school. That thing. I don't know if it make help you to make it clear.
Because roots traditionally are something that A, uptake nutrients, or B, ground something or give it strength, right? So either you can say that the roots needed to be stronger to uptake these nutrients, which means that nutrients are resources, but then uptaking them, which means absorbing them and sort of using them in the correct way, that comes from mentorship. So maybe you can divide it in that way, that you can give them books and you can give them websites and you can give them all the resources in the world, but as long as you don't tell them how to use it properly, which is i.e. mentorship, it's no use, right? So that's how soil and roots go together. Or roots, if you're taking roots as something that anchors people down, maybe you can talk about how this you along with providing all of these educational opportunities, you also provided sort of a sense of purpose towards the community or towards the country in general. I don't know, whichever one you think is better. I think the first one sounds a little better.
Yes, the first one sounds better.
That's how like soil and roots go together, and that's how your metaphor basically comes together. I think
Yes.
better than this. But yeah, these are good. I think it's nice that you went through the UC application process. Now your RD is much easier than before, although there are still some annoying supplements. But yeah, do you have, it looks like you have a lot of your drafts done already. Um, if you want, we can schedule like another call to like go through them one by one and basically getting them all ready for a regular decision.
Yes, that would be great.
But once again, my first priority would be getting your Common App essay done
Yes.
within this week, hopefully. I wanna, if you can give me a draft by, let's say, Friday, then maybe we can talk over the weekend to finalize the essay.
Okay.
So that once that we have that out of the way, supplements are like much easier, and you already have a lot done there.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so just like keep in touch, and let's get this done. Did
Perfect.
you hear back from Yale, by the way? Did you get an interview?
Yes, I got an interview ago.
That's nice. How did
It was great. I got an interview with a current senior. It was a neuroscience major, so she asked me like 6 questions about tell me about yourself, why Yale,
Mhm.
why in the US, why you don't study just improve, and a bit of a challenge, how I approach it. I talk about my brother on that one.
Mhm.
I got the invitation on Wednesday and on Friday. So in those 2 days on in that gap, I try to prepare like some responses, not like half a script, but a mental outline of how I want to structure my answers. So it wouldn't come out naturally, but at the same time, not very rushed. And
Mhm.
yeah, and then I think the most
That is a little unconventional. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. Yeah, please continue.
no, it's fine. I just wanted to say that there were like pretty normal questions, and the only weird one was about like a favorite book and why. And but yeah, I already, fortunately, I have like a prepared answer for that one, so it didn't caught me off surprise very much.
Yeah, it's fine. I think I was just wondering if they've started letting like current students do the interviews because earlier it just used to be like alumni. So that's a little surprising. But I don't think we have a lot to worry about. A lot of these interviewers are really nice, and especially if they're a current student, I think that um, I don't think any interviewers, unless they're like some actually evaluative interviews, I don't think anyone writes a bad review. So you don't have to worry too much about that. And it's a good thing that you got an interview. As long as you did not make any major mistakes, I think you're fine there. And yeah, let's hope for the best for
Yeah.
mid-December. But like, let's not wait until then to get RD
Yes.
ready. Yep.
Right. I think that's it for this call. Keep in touch with us and let's schedule another call soon so we can get your personal statement up to par and then the supplements. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Of course.
All right.